Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm the Mellow Mama, and today I'll be sharing my 5 tips to promote independent play for your children.
We could ride the light waves, together ignore all the sound waves. How do we get so brave?
There is so much that goes into this, but I'm going to do my very best to overview as many guidelines as I possibly can that have truly benefited Donovan and myself in terms of independent play. Independent play is important for our children. It's just as serious as our work. It's study time for them, in my opinion. This is time for them to delve into their inner world, understand that true sense of their intrinsic being, who they are, what they want to become, what they want to create, even what they want to create in that very moment. I believe it's really important to honor this time. It's very sacred, even in the earliest stages of our children's lives. And it's also really beneficial for us as parents. Independent time has allowed me to shower. It's allowed me to do dishes. It's allowed me to get my own personal work accomplished. And in general, it's given me time to breathe and to just reflect on my day, on my thoughts, and my feelings. Now, of course, it's not the same every day. Our children have different needs and desires every single day for different reasons. Sometimes independent play might be a really great thing and experience in your household, and other days your baby or your children might be a little bit more dependent on you. They might need some more attention from you, or more cuddles, or just more physical presence from you, and that's completely fine and understandable. And when we have a calm, patient understanding and expectation for that, we're better prepared to handle it. My first tip is obviously the environment in which you expect your children to play independently. The space needs to be clean, organized. I really prefer some natural light. If it's possible to use a room with a window, please do that. Natural sunlight is such a great addition to a playroom or any type of space in which learning is happening. Is it close by? Are you near? Are you far? It's in our DNA to want to be close to the people that care for us. It's an evolutionary instinct of survival. So if your baby is trying to have independent playtime, or you're trying to advocate for some independent playtime, but they're upstairs or downstairs or outside while you're downstairs, upstairs, or inside, you can expect that they'll have kind of a difficult time. And of course, is it safe? It's so important always to consider our children's safety, but especially in terms of independent play. If the space isn't childproof, then we inevitably will have to intervene sometimes in order to keep our kids from being in harm's way. And when we are trying to promote independent play, we want to make sure that we don't have to intervene at all. One other thing that I really love from the Montessori approach is having things at our child's level, making it their space. It's inviting to them when things are reachable, accessible. It's not a space designed for adults, but for children. Along with the space itself, what does the space contain as far as playthings? I want to make sure that our toys, and Magda Gerber expresses this the nicest way, in my opinion, are passive toys. She says passive toys make active babies and active toys make passive babies. What she means by that is when we have toys that are entertaining our kids, it takes our child's ability to imagine, to create, and to build away from them. So avoid any toys that have flashing lights, loud music, or loud sound effects, even really bright ornate colors that aren't natural, and materials that aren't natural. Instead, choose toys that your baby will have to maneuver and manipulate on their own in order to play and engage with them. Good examples of this are a simple doll, balls, different sensory bean bags, scarves and different cloths. Dress-up clothes are great. Blocks, Legos, and other building materials. And keeping those things in that same family of muted colors, natural materials, soft or different textured fabrics. You get the idea. Next, I want to observe how we interact with our children when they engage with us in their play. In order to promote independent play, we want to make sure that we're always taking a back seat or a passenger seat, like an assistant position in our child's play. I like the analogy that our child is the screenwriter, producer, director, and star in their own film, and we're simply an audience member. If we're lucky, maybe a guest star. Refrain from teaching our babies something, or showing them how to properly play, or praising them when they play a certain way, or put something together a certain way. We're honestly robbing them of a great opportunity for self-growth and development, for them to understand their own way of thinking, their own creative outlook on things in life and what they're manipulating. It's really easy to fall into the trap of showing babies what's interesting to you. But when you do that, you take away an opportunity for them to show you the exact same thing. You're also taking an opportunity away from them to learn something themselves, to explore something for the first time on their own. You're also indicating to them that they need you to show them how things work or what's interesting. And once again, it's just taking from them. It's inhibiting their autonomy. In regard to the praising, it's so hard sometimes not to say, yay, good job, whenever our kids do something that we think is advanced or amazing or fascinating. But when we do that, we're taking away our child's ability to really enjoy their own sense of pride in whatever it is that they're doing. Instead of being satisfied themselves with whatever they're building or creating or doing, they're going to constantly look for us to be pleased, to be impressed, to give them that applause that they are looking for, that they think is what play is all about. And instead, we want it to come from them. We want them to understand what makes them happy, what brings them joy or pride, or what makes them excited about their work. Because once again, that's what play is for children. It is work. One easy trap that well-intentioned parents fall into is correcting our children. For example, Donovan loves to hand me fruit or any object and pretend like it's a telephone. I could easily say, no, Donovan, this is a piece of watermelon, or this is a banana. But instead, I like to actually enter his world. Remember, he's the director, he's the screenwriter. This is what he's written, that this object is a telephone in his world. So I like to honor that and respect it and not correct it and play along with him. Hello, talking on the wooden watermelon. But it's so important to do that in order to, once again, promote that sense of autonomy. When we constantly correct, you could understand that our children would get the notion that they need our direction. They need us to tell them how to play or what something really is. They lose this sense of their creative imagination because they rely on us to tell them what's really happening, how to really play, what's true, what is this object really. And it's better not to take them out of their world. It's better to just allow them to explore, imagine, and create in their own way, in their own light. So to positively interact and promote independent play, we just take that sidecar position. We observe. All in all, it's best to just be as passive as you possibly can, observational, patient, quiet, while your children are engaged in play with you. But don't be disconnected, of course. There's a fine line here. Be engaged, but don't try to lead the way. Allow your child to do that. Routine is so important in every aspect of a child's life, and I think in the parent-child relationship, in order to best communicate and to set expectations. If you want your child to be able to have alone time, independent play time, then it's easiest for them to understand and interpret that that's what needs to happen or that's what's expected of them if it's on a routine basis. The easiest way for me to implement this is after meal times. After we've had a meal, been cleaned up, and gotten settled in, Donovan will play for an extensive period of time with me or without me while I get work done or while I'm engaged with him. And it's so nice that he always interprets, okay, what's next? Playtime. My final tip is to promote independent play through a serene, zen, tranquil space And the number one ingredient to that is silence. It's very easy, especially today with all the technology that we have, to constantly have music playing or a TV show going on in the background or a YouTube video playing, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you expect your child to be able to have this uninterrupted, independent play, then you should also really be conscientious of the noise that you're making, whether it's a loud phone call that you're on or a loud conversation that you're having in person, maybe with another parent or with your spouse. Music can be a wonderful contribution to learning, but you want to make sure, once again, that it's not a distraction. Choose really subtle classical or jazz music or something in that family that's not going to take away from your child's inner world at work. Also, put yourself in your child's position. When you've had these wonderful moments of flow in your work, when you get everything that you're thinking right down on paper or right into what it is you're working on, it's so beautiful and it feels so fulfilling. We want to make sure that we give our children that same level of respect that we would want in those times. There's almost nothing more frustrating than when you're in the zone. For example, like I'm filming this video now, and I can't tell you how many times I'd be doing this and someone would just burst in my room to say some random fact or ask me some random unimportant question. And that's what we do to our children all the time, just unknowingly. They're always learning. They're always taking in information, but especially more than ever when we give them the freedom and the ability to independently play and work. So the worst thing that we can do is interrupt them, cause noise, distractions, or obviously the other things that I've mentioned, teach them, instruct them, and take the director role, when really we need to just sit back and allow them some time, some quiet, and some peace. The last thing that I want to mention and remind you is that nobody likes to be dumped and no one likes to be punished. So if you decide that independent play is something that you really want to get into and allow your child to enjoy, and you make this beautiful safe space for them with appropriate toys, and then you just plop them down and walk away, you can't expect that that's going to go well. No one likes to be dumped, and Janet Lansbury says this in her book Elevating Child Care. And it really spoke to me because there were times where I thought, should I just walk out of here? I mean, he clearly sees me leaving, and part of Rye is also telling my son, okay, I'm gonna go in the other room now. And it never worked out well until I read that passage and I thought, yes, exactly, I need to engage with Donovan, be there, be present with him until he's engaged himself and immersed in his own play, at which point then I can leave the room and have my own time. But nobody likes to just be dropped off and expected to enjoy themselves. They feel like this is a punishment, which brings me to my next point. Our children will naturally look forward to this time because it's freeing to explore, to imagine, and to create without any intervention, especially from us, is wonderful for them. So keep it in a positive light. Don't use play, independent play, and alone time as any type of punishment ever. Never shoo your kids into playing on their own. It's only going to harm your relationship and their ability to play in an independent nature. And that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope it was helpful for you. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more from me, please hit subscribe. And if you have any questions or want to say hi, please leave me a comment below. See you on the next one.